Okay, folks, today's date is August 4th, 2025. It's a little bit before 9 a.m. What I'm trying to do right now is show you a burn cut that is in the roof of my mouth. And it's about 3.5 days into healing, and it's still there. And let me take that back. It's about 1.5 days into what appears to be on its way to complete healing. Bear with me just 1 second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pinky finger. I'm going to actually take my thumb and my tongue. Now, bear with me a second. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my thumb. Okay, I'm going to take my thumb and put it on the cut itself. And then what I'm going to do is remove the thumb and put the phone lens of the camera, the camera lens of the phone, sorry, and place it right at that spot. Now, what you want to do is take a snap screenshot of that spot, okay? And zoom in on it to see how well you can see it. Now, the mouth is a funny thing because there's a lot of shadow in the mouth, okay? It's darker than your in real time, physical environment. And you got to also remember, too, these are very specific types of burns. These are either radiotelemetry, radio frequency, radiation burns, or ultrasound burns. Ultrasound burns, actually both come from the inside out. Yeah, there's different things in play here, folks, and to be totally honest with you, I don't have a lot of time this morning to make a video, an extended video, in order to educate you in detail about what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So, and then I'll put the lens of the phone, I'll take the thumb away, and then I'll try my best to put the lens of the phone right at that spot. Okay. Now listen, I'm going to make a statement here. It's going to probably sound peculiar to people who don't know anything at all about gang stalking. Okay, so you're just going to have to trust me, okay? Trust me. When I make videos, you want to pay attention to the sounds in the environment. Now, you got to remember something about the crime of gang stalking. The crime of gang stalking is very intrusive. There's many different things going on. And some of the things that these wild animals are after can be, some of the things that they're after can be achieved by and through more than one applied technique and what that technique is. Okay? So let me just make an additional fast statement and consider this. So listen to me very carefully. When I bring up my sound spectrum analyzer app, and trust me, I've done it on massive dates. When I bring up my sound spectrum analyzer app, and it's picking up the non-stop, identical to a T, non-stop, identical to a T, same exact identical sound frequencies hopping, and they're dedicated decibels, and you would not believe how fast they're hopping. There are about 18 of them at least, while ultrasound is being picked up simultaneously on the same app. Okay? Now, with that being said, and this has been caught at least 115, at least of the 190 hiking areas that I've been forced to move to, away from, and some of them back to, okay, on 2 different properties. And that includes early in the morning, like 6 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning, okay, and in areas that were nowhere near roads. So you're going to understand this here in a second. And I can't make this into a long, extended video about the subject matter either. And trust me, if I did, you'd have a more thorough understanding. But I'm going to try and give you some nuggets right now for you to chew on. So listen to me carefully. The Sound Spectrum Analyzer apps has picked up the same exact identical to a T, 1000% identical to a T sound frequencies, hopping, okay, continually nonstop. It's an automated system. The internet, through thorough research of very, 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 very credible people and testimonies, it appears to be what is known as ELF broadcasting, which is a type of acoustic technology that only the victim can hear. Just trust me, stay with this account. You will learn a lot over time. Absolutely. This is related to gang stalking crimes. Now, consider this. Okay. Now, if they're propping up, and then they use different sounds concerning the community-based gang stalking, okay, that they know can achieve the same goals. Because what you got to understand about, even though you can't, so when they perpetrate different simultaneous tones through ELF, no one can hear them except for the victim. And when I make some additional videos concerning this, it's got a direct connection to, it's reported to have a direct connection to wideband, okay? Wireless body area of networked integrated implants, which is how, in part, they're internally torturing and literally disabling and even killing gang stalking targets. And it's even connected to forms of slavery, absolutely. Now, again, I don't expect you to understand all this, so you're going to walk away with holes in your understanding, okay? Now, check this out. One thing that you got to understand about what these wild whores, these wild animals who host this crime, in order for them to develop what they're perpetrating, they had to use scientific and medical expertises who came together in order to say, hey, look, this is what we need, this is what we want, this is what we need, so what can we do to achieve it? And then they sat back and they said, okay, well, this is the resources we have, okay? The different acoustic technologies, okay? I've even seen extremely credible reports that these wild animals are using acoustic bone conduction acoustic panels and propping them up around victims' homes. I kid you not. So just trust me, stay with this account, you'll learn a hell of a lot more, okay? And then that additional data will fill in the blanks, okay? Now, one thing you understand about sound and the sound spectrum is that there are different things. See, because what these wild animals are doing is they're recording specific sounds that they know have specific sound frequencies, and then they perpetrate it through ELF. Now, even though you can't hear ELF, they know the victim can. Okay? Now, but what you got to understand, though, is that when they recorded it, they were recording it from probably more than likely, basically what they did was they just incorporated a bunch of tones and put it in a software program, and then sat back and said, well, these are the time rates that we need so the time rate, like from the time each cycle starts up until the time each cycle ends, and then it just gets endlessly, cyclically repeated in a loop. That's a software program, okay? So let's just say, if you can imagine in your mind, they took 18 different tones, and they knew what decibels they needed each tone to be at, and they programmed the software so that each tone could be simultaneously played, and then incorporated it within the acoustic technology that is ELF for that victim. ELF is a identical twin sister of voice to skull technology. Okay, and when you do enough thorough research into voice to skull technology and gang stalking crimes, you'll understand why only the victim can hear it. But when they taped it by and through either digital sound equipment or whatever, okay? Because they knew each specific tone that they needed the victim to hear. They knew they had to obviously incorporate that within the software. And then each tone, so if you can just imagine 18 different tones playing right next to each other, but they're still playing simultaneously. I don't know. Trust me, when you see my Sound Spectrum Analyzer rep videos, you'll see it. You'll see it visually. Absolutely. while ultrasound is also being picked up by the Sound Spectrum Analyzer app. So consider this. Now, another thing these wild rats are doing is that they also know that certain things that they can prop up in the environment that have normal appearing excuses for being in the environment can achieve one or more of the same goals, which means that, let's say if they know that 7 of these sounds that they can prop up in the environment that have a normal appearing excuse to be in the environment, landscape workers, tools, the tools that landscape workers use, lawnmowers, certain types, absolutely lawnmowers, the high-pitched sound of those racing motorcycles, even specific sounds of airplane engines. Now, the only thing I can tell you right now, folks, is you're going to have to just really listen to what I'm saying and believe me. Because you got to understand what these wild animals, these are wild animals. These are mass-murdering wild animals. That's all they are. This crime will literally go to any and all lengths on all dates anywhere, which in part is why you have tens of thousands of Americans all over America on a daily basis complaining about community-based noise harassment. Think about that. Do you really think all these different people who have never talked to each other, never seen each other's online posts, okay, yet they're all sharing the same thing, that they're being subject to the same types of community-based sound harassment that's propped up around their homes, when they go out and about in the community, when they go to school, work, whatever? This is a huge program perpetrated at the epidemic level all over America. Now, these wild animals, oh, absolutely. So I tell you what, I don't have time for this, to be totally honest with you this morning. So here's the point I was initially trying to make. There's also, what you gotta also understand is that and I got a lot of backed up videos about this online. I got a lot of backed up videos about this saved because they're jamming my phone, not allowing me to upload my videos at 99% of all the places that I go to upload videos at. Absolutely. Okay, so just trust me. Stay with this account. The videos will be uploaded over time, and it might take a while because if you knew what I'm enduring on a daily basis, yeah, this crime sabotages your life every chance it gets, every single day. Every single day, about everything that is connected to your life. Picking up your Amazon orders, trying to get your test results directly from the place you went and got the test. Instead, they want to forward them to a organized crime syndicated doctor who will lie his ass off right to your face. I shit you not. Okay, there's doctors that will tell you false information based on their ignorance, but there's also doctors that will lie right to your fucking face because they're taking orders from these wild whores. Absolutely. And by the way, we're going to see what I experienced today concerning my x-ray results. So anyways, just trust me on this. Things need to be said for a reason. So here's the point I was trying to make. You bring up a Sound Spectrum Analyzer app, and it's picking up identical to a T sound frequency hopping and their dedicated sound frequency decibels. Okay, so each sound frequency that is simultaneously hopping has a dedicated decibel. So the decibel bar is also hopping while it's picking up ultrasound simultaneously. It appears that, and you should also know, ultrasound is a reported carrier wave for voice to skull. Okay, oh, absolutely. So check this out. Now, so you bring up, I have brought up my Sound Spectrum Analyzer app easily on 300 occasions, easily. Okay, I have made massive videos about this, right? Showing what it's identically reading out at all these different hiking areas, including when there's no traffic, no planes, no landscape tools, and other demonic shit that they prop up through these useful idiots in the community. Okay, so check this out. So it's picking up the same exact identical to a T, fluctuating, hopping sound frequencies and their dedicated decibels. Then when you repeat the word gang stalk, oh my God, and I gotta say this word, so please forgive me. I gotta say it because this is literally even what they're saying along my routes. Okay, gang stalk, oh my God, and suck dick. So when I say that in the phone as the Sound Spectrum Analyzer app is up, those sound frequencies that are hopping from what is reported to be ELF jump. So the point being here is that the phonetics of human speech has a dedicated sound frequency. And if you don't believe that, just download a sound frequency spectrum analyzer app, or just a sound frequency app. and watch what comes up, and preferably one that's got the graph bars that will show you how elevated the sound frequency goes up and its dedicated decibels concerning any sound, and then talking to it. And you're going to literally see the sound of your voice and the sound frequencies of the phonetics of the words. See, these wild animals, when they got all these different expertises together, okay, like audiologists, okay, even speech pathologists, and you'll understand that more when you stay with this account. They got all these different expertises together because remember what I said a few minutes ago. They sat back and said to themselves, this is what we know we want. We know what wideband is in a specific victim. The wideband is set up so that it needs sound conversion to electrical signal, and the only way you can get the correct electrical signal is to have the correct sound propped up. Okay? Absolutely. So, in order to get the specific electrical signal, okay, from that specific sound frequency, it gets converted through the electrical array of a cochlear ear implant. And some cochlear ear implants are bone conduction. Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. And wideband is non-consensual biological implantation. And then each electrical signal goes to a dedicated implant, and then the implant cooks the victim alive internally. And even disables them so they can be used for slavery, racketeering purposes, health care insurance fraud schemes, treating the diseases the victim comes down with, placing the victim into organized crime run group homes because they can't take care of themselves anymore, and many more crimes happen to that victim there as well, like staged videotaped rapes and much more. Those videos are then made, hundreds of copies are made, and they're sold to pornography groups. The victim is literally subject to slavery for the rest of their lives in the most barbaric, monstrous, sadistic form ever known to man. Absolutely. These are wild-ass animals, folks. Evil, sick, demented freaks. Demented. Doing this to average, everyday people. In other words, every day they go hunting for new victims. Every day. And they destroy our lives and break them down. The police protect it all, and the police are involved in the aspects of it. I just don't give a fuck anymore concerning exposing them. They allowed every single thing to happen to me and didn't give two shits about it. Now, they didn't care at all. The state of California, the city of San Diego, and the county of San Diego didn't give two shits at all about what happened to me on all fucking dates. So as far as I'm concerned, every last one of them goes straight to hell. And I'm talking about 15 physical staged assaults, non-stop harassment along all my routes, every single day, non-stop since 2011. Harassed in every business I've been into, 95% at least of all MTS bus stops, bus routes, libraries getting stalked, universities, everything. This is my life. This is not a bunch of wild, vicious-ass whores' life. This is my life. And they came into my life. And wait till you see the other evidences I got. Your jaw is going to drop. This is my life. You ask yourself as a human being, how do you think you would feel if a bunch of demented, demonic, sadist, criminally insane, wild psychopaths entered your life and tore it completely down, made you homeless, staged vehicle accidents so you don't have a car, for any reason, to sleep in, to carry your stuff around in, to go grocery shopping, staged vehicle accidents. Then they make you homeless, which is then weaponized against you through the police. Absolutely, if you get out of control concerning your exposures. Fuck yeah, they will. Imagine losing everything in your home, put out on the street, then sadistically targeted. How do you think you would feel if this happened to you? See, when you make videos like this and whatever, look, when you go to Google and you type in at Google, cyber surveillance and gang stalking, okay, when you go to Google and type in cyber surveillance and gang stalking, you're going to see that tens of thousands of gang stalking targets are openly stating that every single thing they do online is monitored by these vicious, vile animals. And you want to know why? Many reasons. Threat assessment, okay, and to see if anything the victim is saying could be used against them later once the victim is set up through a staged event. Absolutely. You got to understand something, but these people are nothing but a bunch. It's a big, the whole crime itself is nothing but a nationwide, massive, organized crime syndicate run through federal law enforcement, Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and many other colluding filth. Okay, absolutely. Working in direct collusion with state, county, local governments, state, county, local police, businesses, universities, and much more. The gang of gang stalking. The gang of gang stalking. They don't care. They don't give two shits at all. They're fucking involved in hundreds and hundreds of crime motivations. Slavery of all forms. I kid you not, folks. I kid you not. Welcome to truth. Ultrasound's at the far right. Now watch what jumps up when I say the repeated words. Let me try and get that shadow off. And then I gotta let you go. Trying to get this shadow off the phone. The reflection off it. Alright, hold on a minute. Okay. So I want you to look at this. Now I'm going to let this just, I'm going to let you look at it. For about 30 seconds. And then I'm going to repeat those words. Now watch what jumps up when I repeat those words. Gang, gang, stalk. Gang, stalk. Oh my God, gang, stalk. Suck dick. Oh my God, gang, stalk. Oh my, oh, gang, 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 oh, suck dick. Those 3 words and more have been caught on over 10,200 audio files being repeated along my routes, okay, different tape recorders. Okay, so you're going to tell me, these sick, demonic little bastards, look, when I'm alone at my hiking area, all right, how are they going to prop up people to repeat gang stalk, oh my God, and suck dick? So they say to themselves, what other form can we use in order to perpetrate the same sound frequencies? Okay, you're witnessing it right now as I speak. Now, when certain planes go by, when certain car mufflers go by, when certain high-toned, speedy motorcycles go by, okay, the same ones jump. See, what you got to understand about these sick, vicious animals, if you can just picture this and then I got to let you go. One thing that you got to understand about these wild whores is that they know that, look, consider this. Picture to yourself a big, gigantic shopping mall that's got a big, gigantic parking lot, right? And then it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and everything's completely empty. okay? The parking lot's empty, and these assholes are connected to businesses like you would not believe. So trust me, they would even be able to do this, all right? Or you can even just a picture on a big, gigantic, abandoned parking lot from like an industrial parkway where all the businesses have been shut down because of inflation or whatever, okay? So you got a big, gigantic, empty parking lot. And then you got from one end of it, point A, to the other end of it, point B, okay? So at A would be where they would position the those motorcycles that are used for racing, okay? So you take that motorcycle and you put it at point A, and then you tell it to start going towards point B, and then at, I'd say, at least 40 to 70% of that distance between A and B, when he's driving it at a certain speed, it's going to make a specific sound frequency coming from its engine and or muffler. And I've seen very credible testimonies. Okay, I've already turned off the other phone, so I can't show you what an airplane sound. You would not believe what I've caught on my tape recorder concerning airplanes going overhead, and the sound coming from them is nothing but a literal sharp tone. I got massive audio files showing that, absolutely. So this motorcycle is going from point A to point B, and anywhere between 60 to 70, or maybe a little bit more percent of that time duration of the sound coming from his motorcycle is going to make a specific type of sound frequency. And the wild whores just sit back with a sound spectrum analyzer and they say, okay, the sound of this engine is producing this specific sound frequency, and it's in direct sync with what we need. Okay? Do you understand that concept there? So in other words, the sound from the motorcycle, the sound from the specific landscape tool, the sound from the specific fire department siren, ambulance siren, police siren, same thing. They know exactly what they're doing. So Google the hell out of my statements. I got audio files showing extremely credible people saying the same thing. That they experience cars zooming up and down their streets every single day. And you know what? Check this out. Here's another way for you to immediately see that cyber surveillance is going on. I've been enduring sound harassment all morning. The second I start making this video, it all stops. Now, within anywhere between 1 to 3 seconds or a minute or two after I stop this video, it'll start up again. They don't want you hearing what they're propping up, because then the audio of the camera app would pick it up. It can then be run through a sound spectrum analyzer app. And what do you think it's going to show you? If they're using words and phrases that produce the same sound frequency output, okay, that ELF, the reported ELF is producing, do you honestly think they're not using other shit? Okay? So, what you got to understand about these vicious animals is that, so especially when you got a victim who's got a non-consensual auditory implant in them, and it sound conversion to electrical signal, each electrical signal then goes to each implant. Why do you think they're making people homeless? Because when you're homeless, you don't have a window to shut to block out the sound. Even though, if you had an apartment, what they'll do in order to make up for that is just run apartments adjacent to the victim. And they'll have these neighbors make sounds. I kid you not. This is all over the internet, folks. I kid you not. So, and you should also know that sound is also used for auditorial brain entrainment for the sake of remote neural monitoring. Hold on a second. Oh, absolutely. So, folks, what you got to understand here is that, in fact, I saw a very, very, very credible hearing test video. I got it saved in one of my playlists. And it's the type of hearing test that children will get by and through the school system. And they bring these audiologists in with their equipments. It's a video that literally dedicated for that. And if you YouTube it enough, you'll find it. Okay, and it shows the lady bringing the equipment into school, and it shows how they bring the students in isolated a room that's pretty isolated away from the rest of the school, so no other noises can be obstructive to their testing, and in this video, it literally goes on to say what they're doing concerning like what the children are, what sounds the children are being subjected to in order to test their hearing. But then as the video proceeds, what else does it say? It also shows, hey, this is the sound frequency of a lawnmower. This is the sound frequency of a bird chirping. Okay? Absolutely. Right? You would not believe, you literally would not believe what's going on at my hiking areas. You just would not believe it. I kid you not. Okay, you just would not believe it. And if they're reusing the reported ELF broadcasting, see, because when I go back and look at this video, very carefully. When I had the sound spectrum analyzer app up, and think to yourself, consider this, and I let you go, because I didn't even mean to say any of this, okay? Consider this. The average typist, I think, can type, what, 80 to 120 words a minute? Okay? Alright? So, but the average, absolutely, right? So, when you look at, okay, so, a typist will look at a piece of paper and read it, okay? And that person will type those words in 80 words per minute. Okay, so that's 80 words per minute that a typist is typing. But it takes time for those words to go from the brain to the central nervous system to the different trapezoid muscles and then the arms, elbows, wrist, hands, fingers to type it, right? Now that's a specific time rate ratio to specific movements and the communication between the brain, central nervous system, trapezoid muscles, to the limbs, which is your arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, hand, fingers, to type those words. Okay? With the typist looking at the piece of paper that's got the words on them that they're typing, right? Now you go back and you look at the time rate of what that sound spectrum analyzer had picked up, okay? Those are identical to a T. Some of them are changing a little bit between where the ultrasound's at and then like the 4,000 and 6,000. Okay, those are not produced nowhere near as much as what you were seeing from the left going towards the ultrasound. But the point being here is at least 18 of them, 12 to 18 of them, are non-stop identically. Okay. Non-stop identically, being simultaneously perpetrated, and they will fluctuate a little bit, but you see, even the concerning like how elevated the sound frequency goes and its dedicated decibels, they might fluctuate just a little bit, but you see, that's programmed too. It's an automated system, because a human being cannot think that fast. Because you got to understand here, there's anywhere between 12 and 18 sound frequencies occurring. At least 12 to 16 of them are non-stop, simultaneously occurring extremely fast. So you can't think 12 different sound frequency thoughts what to type in a computer. So try, because you can't think in parallel. So in other words, try to think 12 hertz in your mind at the same time while you're simultaneously thinking 5 hertz or 26 hertz or 107 hertz. You can't think two thoughts in parallel. It's impossible. It's humanly impossible because of the way the speech processing area of the brain works. Even a fast typist can't do it. A fast typist types in each word they see from the piece of paper. So basically what you're seeing here is 12 to 16, okay, sound frequencies being routinely presented simultaneously. Okay? That's an automated system, folks, which means it's pre-programmed to be projected, the acoustic sound to be projected, each sound being acoustically projected simultaneously with the other ones. A human being cannot do that. The brain does not work that way. So that right there should tell you it's a software program perpetrating sounds. okay, through acoustic technology, which means it's got specific criminal intent because they're using specific sound frequencies continuously, simultaneously. Because think to yourself, why would they pick these sound frequencies? Why didn't they pick different ones? And why would ultrasound be going on in a wooded area? Okay? Think about what I'm saying. Use your brain. Okay? Right? So if it's a programmed automated system to intentionally perpetrate the same exact identical to a T simultaneous sound frequencies, okay, cyclically, which means perpetually in a non-stop rotating way, then you obviously know that it's a computer it's an AI system, and it's a computer that's been programmed to perpetrate them, including when they oscillate, even the oscillations of them, like when they might change just a little bit, or another one might get added, or the other 4 that they need that's between the ultrasound and the ones that are constantly seen, okay, they need those 2 when they need them. Okay, so that's also programmed. This is an automated system. So why would a programmer sit back and say, these are the sound frequencies we need? Why would they sit back and say, these are the specific ones that we need? They got a need. Okay, they got a need. They know what they need in order to achieve what? A specific detailed motive. Each sound frequency produces an electrical signal. The electrical signal goes to the implant. Wireless body area of networked integrated implants, so these sick, demented bastards can target the brain, the throat, the lungs, the windpipe, okay, the kidneys, the liver, the blood, the bone. These are wild, mass-murdering bile whores. It's all they are. It's a biomedical crime with scientific attachments. They know exactly what they're doing. Absolutely. That includes rumbling sounds. Okay? Absolutely. Alright? I gotta let you go, folks, because I got stuff to do today. I didn't even have time to make this video. So listen, when you go back at the beginning of this video and you look to see if you can see that burn cut on my gum, if you don't see it, it's no big deal, because I got massive other evidences. In fact, check this out. I'm going to turn on my other phone here just real fast to just show you a couple of fast things so you can see that, yes, I am being targeted. I meant to do that when the phone was on, when I was showing you the Sound Spectrum Analyzer app, and I turned it off because I forgot. And so I'll turn it back on. I'll show you a couple pictures, and then I got to let you go. Today, I got to go to a place to try and get my x-rays results. The technician that took my x-rays, I said, do you see anything in me that shouldn't be there? And he said, yes, I see some stuff. Now, I was told by that same place that I would be able to get a copy of my x-rays through a phone app. The phone app has never worked, not once. So when I go down there today, they're going to say some shit like, oh, well, that's contracted out, so if you want to see them, you're going to have to contact them. And then guess what happens when I contact them? I'll be lied right to my fucking face if I can even get through. Go to Google and type in at Google cell phone call rerouting and gang stalking. Oh, and I'm going to be making a separate video concerning this subject matter. You got to understand, when you got shit in you, this is a health industry crime. It's a biomedical, medical crime. And where do you get x-rays, MRIs, and CAT scans at? At medical establishments. It's an organized crime syndicate. Not only in the system, but a huge part of its operations, okay, is tentacled into where? Universities and the medical health care system, and the mental health care system too. Oh, absolutely. Because the organized crime syndicated members in the mental health care system is how they're getting all these, is how they're discrediting victims, absolutely, claiming they're delusional and mentally ill, or a threat to themselves or others, or can't take care of themselves, bullshit. Oh, absolutely. And it's how they gain custody of a victim for illegal probate control schemes. And they know you're intelligent. They know, they've seen your videos, so they know that you can articulate what's happening to you. So good luck in calling me mentally ill. So what they'll do then is disable you physically, so you can't take care of yourself anymore. in order to put you in organized crime running group homes. These people are demonic. They are fucking demonic. I'm telling you right now, you better listen to every word I'm saying. There's doctors saying the same thing. Doctors and lawyers and professors saying the same thing about these wild animals. They are evil beyond description. Oh, absolutely. So let me just show you a few pictures here. I gotta find them. I just got my gallery up. I'm gonna find them and then I gotta let you go. Oh, you would not believe what's going on all across the country. They view us as cattle. Okay, the wild whores that are hosting this crime, they literally view us as cattle. Okay, absolutely. They don't see us as human beings at all. They view us as cattle. Cattle for profit. Okay, so here's the, well, here's one picture of the eye lens implants that are in my eyes. Bring up that YouTube video and watch it. And some of the features and functions of them are discussed. Those are electromagnetic weapon boil bumps that pushed them out and lit them up. Okay, you'll understand that more when you stay with this account. This right here is a maser. This picture right here is extremely revealing right here, but I'm not going to really detail. Look at all those waves hitting my head. Oh, absolutely. While a maser is going directly over my nose and in between my eyebrows. Bear with me 1 second. Let me set the phone down. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta live this way every single day because of a bunch of vicious, sick, demented bastards who I don't even know. I don't even know who these people are specifically. I've never met them for all. I mean, they could get on a bus and sit in front of me. I wouldn't know it. I mean, how do you think you would feel if a bunch of total strangers destroyed every aspect of your life? Okay, so let me show you this right here. Okay, this is what they did to my eye on August 16, 2023. Okay, after a brutal attack while a military helicopter was hovering in the air directly above me for about at least 2.5 hours in Rose Canyon. Absolutely. This is another brutal attack to my eye on the wooded area off of Gilman Road on August 18, 2022. Look at that. These wild animals don't give two shits at all. They'll fucking kill you. They'll disable you. They'll kill you. This is a beam literally hitting me right in the head. These are wild animals. They don't give a shit. Okay? Do you really think that somebody that would do something like this to you cares about you? Cares about what you think, feel, cares about what you wanted to do with your life? Okay? Cares about your freedom, your mental well-being, your psychological well-being, your physical well-being? Do you really think that somebody that would do something like this to you cares about you in any way, shape, or form? They don't care at all. At all. They're murdering, torturing animals. Absolutely. Look at that. At all. I'm trying to find the video that shows you what it looked like when it was healed, and then I gotta let you go. Yeah, several people were commenting about my eye when I went into Bond's grocery store on Governor Road and Genesee Avenue after that attack. All right, hold on. Okay, so let me show you some close-ups of it. Okay, see that V shape right there? So that's either a V-shape implant that got overheated, okay, or the nozzle of their directed energy weapon had a V-shape on it. That happened in Rose Canyon. Fuck yeah, it did. And then this is what it looked like when it started healing. Folks, they're literally cooking victims' brains alive with directed energy weapons. I want you to look at this picture. I want you to really look at this picture. This is that V-shaped thing when it was healing that you just saw a minute ago. Look at this picture. Shit like this has been done to me on thousands of occasions. Directly to the brain, the face, the organs, the throat, the nose. Okay? Absolutely. I want you to know the truth about what these wild, vicious animals did to me. People I don't even fucking know. People I do not even know. Okay? And you should also research the police to gang stalking, fire departments to gang stalking, and ambulances to gang stalking. Gang stalking crimes is connected to rape, gang rape, human trafficking, murder, snuff films. Oh, absolutely. Snuff films, and much more. So when you hear that wild animal right now in the environment, I don't give a shit if he's got a real call or not. Google what you hear right now to gang stalking. I gotta let you go, folks. I got stuff to do.